This happened to a friend of mine over a year ago. At the time, he had just been dumped by his girlfriend and was pretty torn up about it. Because of this, and against his better logic, he decided to download Tinder on his phone in order to try and take his mind off of her. What he didn't know is that he would take his mind off of his troubles, but it wouldn't be in the way he expected. It wouldn't be through a quick, casual hookup, but rather by encountering something much, much more sinister. My friend, Tyler, downloaded the app and found a solid picture of himself before beginning to swipe right on almost every girl he found. Tyler was a frail but pretty attractive guy, though he didn't get the number of matches he thought he would. This, of course, made him feel even worse about his situation. Just as he was about to give up and delete the app was when his phone lit up. He got a match. Her name was Jess, and she was also pretty attractive, but not in a fake sort of way. If you don't know Tinder, there are a lot of bots and things that will create fake profiles of cute girls to try to scam guys. Another thing about Tinder is normally if a guy does happen to get a match with a girl, she normally wouldn't be the first one to talk. That's also usually a red flag. Tyler, though, was new to the app and didn't know any of this, so instead of being wary about Jess, who sent him a "Hey cutie" message first, he was excited and immediately felt better about the situation. The two carried on a brief conversation, mostly small talk, and before long, Jess actually invited Tyler to meet up that very night. Bit forward, right? Well, that's kinda how Tinder works. Anyway, in Tyler's state, he was all about the attention and agreed to meet up with her even though it was just after midnight at this point. Jess sent him an address, a cheap motel she was staying where they could hang out. She told him to hurry over, and he did. He typed in the address to his phone and took off into unfamiliar territory. No, Tyler didn't know where this motel was at the time. He just entered the address into his phone and followed. If he did know where he was going, he might have turned around earlier. See, Tyler was headed for a real rough part of town. Lots of drugs, lots of gangs, well, you get it. Because of this, he decided to bring a knife. As he progressed through the dark streets and as the clock crept towards 1 a.m., the buildings got dirtier and the people more disheveled. At this time in this neighborhood, it was just about only junkies who were about. Now, Tyler isn't dumb. He got a bad feeling, but he was only about a couple minutes away at this point and figured, why turn back now? So soon he made it, and of course, the place didn't look so great. Poor lighting, and again, just about the only people out and about were drunk and all sorts of messed up. A few guys even seemed to be doing a drug deal of sorts in the parking lot. Tyler, amidst examining the situation, got a text from Jess, of course, saying, "I'm getting sleepy. Are you coming?" And Tyler, though nervous, typed, "Yeah, I'm here now. What room?" 303, Jess responded. 303 sat at the edge of a stretch of rooms, far enough away from the street that it was mostly painted black with darkness. The time was 1:12 a.m., and Tyler was out of his car, heading towards the fateful room 303 into the dark. Before he entered the room, his mom sent him a text. "Where are you?" "At a friend's house for the night. See you tomorrow." Tyler then turned his phone off. He was almost out of battery from the directions being on the past half hour or so. He was only at about 5% now and figured he may need directions out of this place later on. So he put the phone in his pocket and knocked on the door. Immediately he saw the drapes of the room move slightly, probably Jess. Tyler dismissed this as the door creaked open. Before him now stood someone much less attractive than the Jess he had met on Tinder. It was actually her, but not the same person. This Jess lacked the smile from her beachside picture. The closest she got to that smile was a slight smirk at Tyler as he said, Hey, come in. It's late already. Tyler wasn't nearly as interested in this Jess. Her face was heavily blemished, and her eyes had a strange, far-off, glazed quality to them. She looked as though she hadn't slept in over a week, if Tyler could imagine it. Instead, he imagined that it was just due to the fact that it was late and she must have been tired. He was already there, and he wasn't about to turn around now. Okay, he said, and he entered the room, leaving his life behind him. Jess sat on the bed, and Tyler sat next to her as they watched TV for a second. It was loud, too loud, and Tyler asked her if they could turn it off, or at least down. She said something strange. I'm hard of hearing, and dismissed him as the news blared over the two. Soon she got up. I have to go to the bathroom. Wait here for a sec. Tyler nodded. He wasn't sure if he wanted this anymore, but wasn't gonna be rude and just leave, though he should have. A battle between these two thoughts went on in his head as the door to the bathroom closed and locked behind Jess. Should he stay or should he go, he thought. Well, might as well wait until she comes back and say goodbye or something. Tyler certainly wasn't attracted to this new Jess. He made up his mind to do this and took out his low-charged phone again, turning it on, ready to type in his home address. That's when the bathroom door opened. Tyler didn't immediately turn, which cost him. Instead, he finished typing in his address before looking up to see yet another transformation. There was no longer the 5'3" Jess, but instead a 6'3", 300-pound man staring back at him and wearing a ski mask. Tyler, of course, stood up. Empty your wallet, he said. Tyler couldn't believe his eyes as the man started towards him. It was too late now to make a run for the door. Tyler was small and wiry, but the man stood between him and the exit. This man was maybe 3 times Tyler's size, so there wasn't really anything he could do. He did remember the knife, though, in his pocket, but had never used it on anyone, and wasn't sure if using it would do anything against such a large person in front of him. I said, empty your wallet. Hand it to me, the man said, and Tyler did, but actually there was no money in his wallet. Nothing except an ID and a McDonald's gift card. I have a McDonald's gift card, Tyler said, completely serious. It was true, but the man must have thought he was joking with him or something, as he immediately rushed at Tyler. Tyler didn't have any time to react, and immediately felt the force of a punch to the face and 300 pounds weighing down on his stomach. The man was on top of him, his hands around my friend's neck. Suddenly, Jess also emerged from the bathroom and joined in on the brutality, kicking Tyler in the face over and over again as the man started to strangle him. Now, Tyler weighed about 140 pounds, and there was no way he was going to throw this monster off of him. There was nothing left he could do, except reach into his pocket and grab for the knife that he brought with him. He got his hand on it and immediately brought the knife out and plunged it into the man's side, over and over again, causing the man to jump off of Tyler. Jess kept punching and kicking Tyler as she screamed no. This was his chance. Tyler dropped the knife and ran for the door. He might have made it, but the man reacted quickly and grabbed his ankle as quickly as he fell down, forcing Tyler also to fall. Now, the knife was next to the man, and he took a hold of it, again trying to jump onto Tyler's stomach. If I'm gonna die, you're coming with me, he shouted as he started stabbing my friend again and again in the chest. The whole time this was happening, Jess kept kicking my friend in the head. Tyler grabbed at the knife and tried to force it away, but the man, of course, was much stronger and held on. However, the man had lost a lot of blood at this point, and his grasp became weaker, and Tyler had got into a position where he could kick his legs. In a feat of adrenaline, Tyler kicked the man hard in the stomach and squirmed through the blood away from the man. Jess, all alone now, could not bring Tyler down with her own strength, so instead she ran to the man's side and tried to help him, yelling, "You killed him! You killed him!" Tyler ran out of the motel room, completely in shock by this point, but remember his phone was still in his pocket. He grabbed it and typed in 911 as quickly as possible, as the battery was only at about 2% now. As he called, he ran into the street, past all the junkies and shady characters who simply just watched him, almost in shock. The police came to the scene in only about a minute or two. Of course, they were used to coming to this area and immediately found Tyler panting. He was sitting by the side of the road. He told them what had happened, and they immediately went into the motel where they found the two thugs together still. Soon an ambulance also arrived, and they asked Tyler if he was injured. "No, I'm fine," he said, not feeling a thing from the battle. His body was completely numb, and he did actually think he was okay. He wasn't. Luckily, an officer lifted his blood-wet shirt to find a number of stab wounds and loose skin gushing with blood. Needless to say, they immediately loaded him into the ambulance. Now, Tyler was in and out of consciousness at this point, but before he went out one last time, he told a paramedic what had happened and that he was a hemophiliac. This means that his body has trouble clotting open wounds or cuts, even small ones. That night, even someone without his condition would be at risk to die from the blood loss. But Tyler, of course, was even more at risk. He managed to tell the paramedics this information before he finally blacked out, and it ended up being the thing that would save my friend's life. He woke the next morning in the hospital, and the two robbers were caught, also in the hospital. Tyler was lucky to have survived due to everything that happened that night, and still has scars to show for it to this day. He, of course, had to be tested for any diseases, as a lot of his open wounds were coated in blood from his attacker, who happened to be, along with Jess, junkies. Tyler was very lucky and happened to come out of the incident with a newfound view of how dangerous the world around him could be. When he went into that room, he left the old, innocent Tyler behind. Now, he's much more aware and much more skeptical of everything, especially Tinder.